Tomorrow I'm running the JW Corbett trail races in West Palm Beach, Florida. On my way into town, I stopped at the JW Corbett WMA to see where I'm supposed to park and where the race is going to start. So I've reached the parking lot for the start of the race, which is about the youth camp area for JW Corbett. It is extremely small, as the race director told us. So I have to get here like super early if I want to be able to park in this lot. Otherwise I'll have to park down the road. I've signed up for the 50K, but I'm hoping that if I make good time, I'm going to be able to go back out and try for my first 50-mile distance. So I'd like for my car to be right here, so I can access it, and also so I don't have to walk so far when the race is over. After checking out the race starting area, I headed over to a local Italian restaurant to have some pizza and pasta to carb load for tomorrow's race. I went into Publix, it was in the same shopping center, picked out some snacks to put in my drop bag for the aid station. I made it to my Airbnb. But this is just a cute little place. I've already unloaded my stuff. Has a cute little bathroom with no toilet. The toilet's in the other room. A little kitchenette set. And then we have this really nice bedroom. Here I'm putting together my drop bag for the aid station. I'll get to see this drop bag at mile 9:23, and if I can keep going, mile 41. Here's what the pack looks like. I put blue tape on it so I'd be able to recognize it quickly. I have goo gels, snacks, sunscreen, electrolytes, and pre-workout. This is my running vest. I have 2 liters of water in here. The race director suggests that we carry 2 liters of water with us in between the aid stations. It's 5 a.m. I'm headed to the race now. Hopefully I can get a good parking spot. So here we go. Some Greg Race swag here. Trail toes sample, which I already have one in my bag, so I'm just going to hang on to this for later. Looks like there's some LMNT in here, which everybody talks about all the time, so I'm excited to try it. And best for last, this is a dry fit running shirt. And here's the logo.
Pull in, please. Punching, no anything. The trail will beat you up enough. So, but no, it's beautiful out there. You'll have water crossings today, 0.75, 1.5. So I hope you're lubed up and ready to go. The co-race director of this race is the Florida Trail Association. They have done a spectacular job with the course and along with the Lake to Ocean Trail. If you're not familiar with it, it runs from Lake Okeechobee all the way to Hope Sound, 62 miles of trail maintenance.
This is an old school race that started with the race director just saying go. There's no bibs or electronic chips or countdowns or anything like that. I got a little bit behind on that because I couldn't get my watch going, so I ended up in the back of the field right from the start. Here I am going down the first section of the trail, the blue side trail that takes you to the actual Florida Trail where the race starts on the Ocean to Lake Trail. I had intended on running about a 11:30 to 12:30 pace for the first 5 or 6 miles to give myself a little cushion for the end of the race when I was tired, so I could maintain my 50-mile target pace. The terrain, as you can see, is all roots and single track, technical. So I was off to a slower start than I had intended, about a 13:30 pace, which is fine. I needed a little over 14, I think, to cut off for the 50-mile race. This is our first water crossing, about a mile in, I think this was, a mile and a quarter in maybe. I think my feet were pretty much wet the rest of the race after trekking through here. Here is my first glimpse of the cypress trees with the beautiful bromeliads on it. Those are called cardinal air plants, and apparently this is the time of the year that they bloom, so we were very blessed to be able to see this. I felt like I was in another country the entire time that I was out here. This is just a beautiful, beautiful trail. I was still maintaining my 13:30 pace through this entire section, up until I got to the aid station. I felt like I did a good job of not drinking all of my water. I only drank half of my water, and here I am at the aid station. This is a 9-mile mark. Volunteers helped me cool off and prepare for the next leg of my journey. Saw this little guy at the edge of the aid station. Leaving the aid station, I grabbed a peanut butter jelly sandwich, some watermelon, and avocado wrap, which I stuffed in the back of my running vest for later. I walked this section here while I ate really fast, trying to stay on course. I didn't grab any water this time. I only drank 1 liter on my way, so I figured 1 liter would last for the next section. Here I stopped in my tracks. As you can see, there are 2 snakes. I believe these are black racers. They were actually mating, which I thought was really cool. Knowing that I needed to make good time, I hesitated, not sure how I was going to get around them. They were actually blocking the path. I finally decided I was going to have to just step over them. I was prepared for them to turn around and jump at me. I knew that I was going to scream if that happened. But here goes nothing. And they never even moved. This section was still pretty easy for me to maintain my pace. I maintained about a 14:30 pace, mostly all the way through until the mile 16 aid station. I was good about conserving water so that I could continue on with just 1 liter of water, since 2 liters was a little bit heavy for me on my shoulders. I slowed some just to stop and take this beautiful scenery into consideration. It's just so beautiful and unique, and I didn't know if I would ever see anything like this again. So I just took it in. I thought how great it would be to be able to just camp right here on the path amongst all of these cypress trees and wild bromeliads. I continued on. I ate my sandwich that I had stuffed in the back of my running vest, the fresh avocado wrap. It was good. Continued on. I was slipping a little bit. I was slipping to about a 15-minute pace, but I still thought I was doing okay. Coming up on mile 16, I was going to finish in about 4 hours and 15 minutes, which was really only about 15 minutes late. And so I thought, hey, I can gain my time on the way back. Went through some sand here. What's a Florida trail run without some sand? Had to stop and look at my watch a couple times to make sure I thought I was going the right direction. In here it twists and turns. It was hard to tell where exactly the trail was going, but I managed to stay on trail. Continued on until we get to the mile 16 aid station, which is on Powerline Road. I think it should be right around this corner here fairly soon. And there's the power lines. The aid station must be right up there ahead of me. I can see it just in the distance. I stop here. I refill my food once again. Leaving the aid station, I still felt good. I was going to try to make up my 15 minutes that I'd lost coming. I only filled 1 liter of water because I'd been doing so well with just 1 liter through each section, so I thought I would be fine. I did good here for about 3 or 4 miles until about mile 19 or 20, and I still had to get to the 23-mile aid station to refill again. The sun came out really strong and I ended up running out of water. I ended up having to practically walk the last 4 miles to the aid station. I was dying. I was hot. My cooling wrap on my head dried out. I wanted to just lay down and take a nap. I just kept trudging on until I got to the aid station. And I said, "I'm so glad to see you." And they said, "Oh, we're so glad to see you too." And they sat me down in a chair and gave me ice cold wrap to go around my neck that you see here. They made ice cold water in the front and back of me in my running vest, and sent me on my way with some more food. I maintained my regular race pace for another 4 miles. I was doing great, and then my feet started hurting really bad from being wet all day. I do recommend dry socks. I should have changed into dry socks. So this section here I pretty much walked as well. And then now we're about 1 mile from the finish and we're going back through the water again. And it's just really mucky this time after everybody's been through there. And here I am at the finish and I made it. I was too slow for my 50-mile distance, so we'll have to save that for next time. But hey, I did it. 32 miles, beautiful scenery, no regrets. I love this race and I would definitely do it again.